I met the representative last time.
No, welcome to the Scandal Podcast. I am your hostess, Jaha Kn1ght, and you can find me as usual on jahakn1ght.com. We are joined today by the B-side team that includes Langstan Smith.
What's up?
Rodimus Prime from The Black Guy Who Tips. Thank you for joining us again, Rodimus. And, of course, welcome, Langstan, because you're always welcome here.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Cool. So we're going to talk about this episode, this scandal episode, The Fluffer, today. And do y'all actually know that somebody was talking about this on Twitter, and they were like, I think they didn't know what The Fluffer meant. And I'm like, are you a grown-up? Like, who doesn't know what a fluffer is, you know? Like, so for all of you that are listening, and correct me if I'm wrong, fellas, but a fluffer is basically a person that prepares the talent in a porno. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's what a fluffer is.
Particularly male talent normally, too. So, you know, I thought when she threw that line out there, I said, Liv hitting that. She hit that button on him, man. I loved it.
What did you think about this episode, Langstan?
Oh, man. Excuse me. It's funny because today I was looking at a lot of the comments that were on Facebook, and just people were like, it just didn't do it for me. It didn't have that oomph. I was bored. And I'm like, bored? I mean, for me, it was like, there were all these short, quick vignettes, but they were all, just informative. They were quick, but they were informative, and I felt like you had to be, paying attention to catch everything. So it excited me. I was just like, I was laughing, I was jumping, I was like, what just happened? And I mean, sometimes thank God for TiVo, because last night's episode to me was really fast paced. Even though a lot of people say it wasn't, but I thought it was very fast-paced. I enjoyed it.
And the crazy thing about it is a lot of the visual stuff is important in Scandal. So if you're not actually paying attention to what's going on visually, then you miss it. Like one of my moments last night, because, we go with the three big moments. One of my moments last night was when Jake was sitting there in that chair and he was staring at the sun from his B613 office. And I was like, I knew that at some point that was going to come back, and you see him banging on Olivia's door and saying to her, let me in. I asked you to save me. I wanted you to stay in the sun with me. And I was just like, I knew this was going to come about. But I felt sorry for Jake last night, y'all. I'm not usually a Jake on Team Jake thing type person, but I felt so sorry for him last night, and it made me dislike Olivia, so whatever. Y'all, tell me what y'all's biggest moments, the three big moments were. You start, Rod.
All right, first of all, I enjoyed this episode too, and my head was swimming. Like, it was going so fast. But I guess my three big moments, obviously the speech that Liv gave to Fitz, that entire like from her kind of telling him like, look, what am I to you, and then him still being like, yeah, I can't have my wife having sex with Andrew, even though with me and you, and I gotta ask you to break this up. Like, that scene just, man, it made me hate their relationship so much, man.
And he still tried to hold on. You saw him holding her hand. She's like, get your hand off me.
Yeah, like, I wanted to slap his hand away through so, that was one. Obviously, Jake choking Olivia at the end was an extremely powerful moment. And he just bust up in the office like Ike Turner and shit, like after a coke binge like that. That was crazy because, Jake has kind of been the quote-unquote nice guy, or at least that's how they were kind of painting him compared to Fitz. And now it's like, oh, both of these white dudes are crazy. Crazy as hell.
That's why I say she got to get Ray Ray in him.
Yeah, exactly. She going to have to call Edison boring ass back.
Hey, don't talk about Senator Puddin'. I like Senator Puddin'.
And lastly, Dinner with the Popes. Man. I enjoyed Dinner with the Popes tremendously. I want them to start a spades game every other week. Invite random cast members.
with deadly consequences because she was about to cut a bitch.
I know. That was literal. I mean, it was like silent. I will cut a bitch at this table.
And they were both like, well, let's see who's faster then. I mean, well,
right. Because as soon as he reached for the knife, she's like, let's see who's faster.
Like you are wanted. You walk up in the restaurant like a boss. You'd be like, look, I'm here to tell you to mind your damn business. Right. I'm gonna show you my business.
Clearly,
she's going to change professions.
Clearly,
professions, because I will kill you, little girl. Like,
right. That is the ultimate. I brought you into this world, and I will take you out.
She told her to answer her phone. That was crazy, because she's like, go ahead, answer your phone. You need to pick that up. I was like, oh no, my mama Pope do not play.
She said you should get that because, and we can make that connection in a minute, but I just want to real quick say, did you say your third one yet? That was your third one, right?
That was it. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna start off with my number one. Number one, of course, obviously was the Fluffer scene, and I thought that was amazing because typically the title of the show doesn't come up till the middle or the end, and she brought it right in there, right at almost at the top of the show, probably like 3 or 4 scenes in, and that was in Jaha, you'll be able to find it later because I was actually on the way home like transcribing, but that scene right there was just like, I came here to find out what it is you need and blah blah blah, and then he goes, I want Andrew gone. Well, okay, you can't have that, so what do you need? And then when he asked her again, what do you mean, what do I need? She just broke him off a piece of a Kit Kat bar and told him, what is it that you think that I'm here to do for you? Mm-hmm. And then when she was breaking off all that stuff about, am I here to make you feel good? Am I here to make you feel more of a man? She was just digging into him, and he was just like, huh?
You're being vulgar. Is that all you can come back
with? Right. You're being vulgar.
He's like, I did not happen to you. Like, whatever, dog.
Yes, you did. Because if I remember correctly, because I can rewind on that shit, Fitz. Because I do remember you're the one that pulled her towards you in that first encounter, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. And what was that? Sitting her up on the dresser, talking about take off your clothes. Yeah, I remember.
I mean, look, if a man tell you to take off your clothes, like that, you gotta take your clothes off. It's necessary. I'm just saying.
Right.
I like the part in that scene where she's like, "Don't make me say it." Like you got to say if you want me to get Andrew to stop screwing Melly. Don't make me
the bad guy.
But when she sat in that room and told Andrew what he was going to do or face these consequences, I'm like, hells yes.
Right.
I was tired of her taking in the ass with no lube. I was tired of it.
That was my second scene. It was so many scenes for me, but I would have to say that's in my top 3 because that was a flash of the original Liv.
Exactly.
Not the new recipe, but the original Liv.
Now you reminded me of KFC and I'm hungry.
I know, right? I wanted to stop so bad, but I was like, I gotta get home. But yeah, original recipe Liv showed up last night, or as I call her, the Liv we love.
Oh yeah.
Right. So basically, she came back, and then you saw where you realized this is where both of her parents contribute to who she is. Even though her mother wasn't in her life for 22 years, there's a fire about her that comes from both of her parents. Because when it comes to being cold, she can be cold when she wants to be. And she was very cold with Andrew last night. She was just like...
I like when he tried to hit her with that, I love her. And she looked through that shit like it was a window. Like, okay.
And then she also gave that look like, oh, that's sweet.
Right. So speech number 2 then. All right.
Right. Okay. I see I'm going to have to go through okay, here we go. Now, let me tell you what. Since you ain't backing down, let me tell you what, I applaud you. I'm glad that you love her, and and if you pick her, great. But let me just tell you what I'm gonna do if you do.
And love don't win with Melly, so you might as well take door number 2 to keep your power.
Right. I mean, she just tore that all down. She said, ultimately, when you're working at, a second-rate college somewhere, or you're a professor somewhere, yeah, she's not even going to look your way.
But Melly convinced him of that when she got up there for that Wounded Warriors thing and was talking at that, talking to the women, and he saw how much she loved that. And I think that kind of convinced him that he had to move on without that dream. So, yeah. Well,
and also the fact that, she was going to run him out of town on a rail, which is basically what she said. It was like, you don't, choose her. I wish you would. Right. That was the part that had me cracking up. She said, "Oh yeah, choose her."
She's like,
I wish you would.
She said it might give hope in humanity again.
Yeah, restore her faith, because Fitz is all over the place. And like she said last night, he's made a lot of promises to her that he hasn't kept. And I know a lot of single men that don't keep their promises. So I dang sure know that if she's dealing with this married man, he's not going to keep his promises. My 3 moments were when Melly slapped the hell out of Fitz. That was so well deserved. And then Jake in the elevator right before it closed, and you saw his face, I was just like, Olivia, I'm sorry. I know some of y'all are going to be killing me in these emails that you send sometimes and the messages that you leave about the podcast, but when Olivia basically stood on the other side of the door for Jake, and y'all know I'm not Team Jake, for the people that do listen to the podcast faithfully, I'm not Team Jake, but when she refused to open the door and basically had that man on the other side of that door crying like, I asked you to save me. And she knows that Fitz is never going to be able to give her exactly what she needs, because that Vermont thing, she talked about that a couple of episodes ago. It's such a far off dream and non-reality that it's not something that she could see happening for them. I don't even know if even a divorce, if Melly and Fitz divorce, if they'll get together. It would be nice in a dream world, but in reality, I don't even know if that would happen. But that part when he stood there and he was like begging her basically to love him more than she loved Fitz. I thought that was so sad, especially since she just keeps giving this man her body, which kind of has confused him to making her think that she's also giving him a piece of her heart, which she does not.
Right, but which he also, told her that also. What was that, episode 13? Was it before he killed James? He was begging her the same way, and and she just basically kind of looked at him like, what are you talking about?
Here's my body, but you can't have my heart. So that was another one. And then the Standing in the Sun references, I really dug that, because I really feel like the darkness and the light, it plays a large part in this show. Even when you saw Abby standing in the war room with the white coat on, and what's his name? Cyrus said, nice coat. Like they're drawing our attention to the visuals that are going on and that play a part in the episode. And even with Liv and her dad telling her that she had to drag all these people into the light, she's not fully in the light. She's still immersed in some shadow. So it's like she doesn't have that purity of light and dark anymore. It's you're gray. You're in the middle. So how can you drag people into the light when you're not in the light yourself?
And even Andrew alluded to that when he said, how do you do it?
Yes.
Yeah. It was like, how do you basically go for the jugular and rip people apart and just basically like leave them laying on the side of the road? What did he say? Emotional.
I don't know what the last part of that was. I know it was emotional.
Was it emotional dissonance?
I don't know. I think it was emotional destruction or something like that. Yeah. Normally I remember that kind of stuff, but I still have to give my third one, and my third one is a combination, because there was a theme that ran through there that ultimately culminated in Liv sleeping with Jake. Because everybody's like, oh, she's a hoe, she's this, she's that, she's using him. there was a purpose to this, and it first started with Huck finding out that she got, that she got the information from her dad. And then she's telling him, I need for you to do this. I'm not going to do this. You are going to do this. No, I'm not going to do this because I don't work for your dad. No, you don't work for my dad. You work for me. Mm-hmm. And blah, blah, blah. She drove that home. Then fast forward to her argument with Fitz, where she's trying to figure out, who is she today? What services am I billing you for today? And then another leap, and we're back at her and Huck arguing again, because Huck's trying to convince her, you need to do this. I can't do this. Well, hold on, heifer. You just told me that I had to do something, and I do what you asked me to do, and I'm telling you that this is what we need to do what you asked me to do. So hold on. And I think it hit her. I think it hit her when he said, I do everything you tell me to do. And I think she realized that everything that she was hitting Fitz with is exactly what she's been doing to Huck.
The OVA in general.
Yes, she's been treating them all like the help. Mm-hmm. She thinks that Fitz is making her the help, but she's been doing that to her entire staff, and Huck especially. Huck does everything. He said, I do stuff that I don't like to do or I don't want to do, but I do it because you asked me to do it. Mm-hmm. And that I think that dug into her like a knife. And I thought that was a really cool 3-part harmony type situation that went on with those 3 scenes that ultimately culminated in her going and doing what had to be done to get that code.
But it's also a power struggle if you look at it that way, with the Fitz situation, with the Jake mm-hmm. situation, with the Huck situation, because she was battling for her power, but also they were battling for their own power, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. It also reminded me a little bit of Adnan Salif sleeping with Harrison.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Getting that information, like how she basically went there and did the same thing to Jake, but for a good cause or whatever. Like it was a lot of symbolism throughout the episode with that kind of stuff.
I don't know that Adnan sleeping with Harrison was for a good cause, as we now know.
Oh, yeah.
But during that conversation that Huck and Harrison had at the table, mm-hmm. when they were talking about the fact that women could just do anything and get them to, and then Huck was like, yeah, or stab you with a needle or something. He said
right, and that was a they were actually kind of cutting on each other in that little sequence right there.
You're lucky you're not a normal guy.
Right. I was like, did he just say that? I mean, because it was like he threw a little dagger at Huck, and then Huck said, yeah, or a needle.
Look, yeah. I will pay extra for webisodes of Huck and Harrison sitting around talking about women. That was good, and I know it can't fit into the show every week, but I would, if they could just start a podcast or something, I would be down.
Mm-hmm.
Turtle Lover says Olivia couldn't fool him, but she ended up in his bed and in his house when she wouldn't even open the door after he begged. And I agree, because that's how I felt about it. I was like, honestly, how in the heck did you let her? And how did she get in his house? Do you know?
She has keys.
Look, everybody on this Scandal cast they might as well not have doors.
But that's the thing. But that's the thing right there. That is interesting right there that you bring that up. They both have keys to one another's apartments. Mm-hmm. But he was polite enough to ask her to let him in. But she just walked in. But I still felt like
keys to get in her apartment though.
Huh?
He didn't need
no, he didn't. But he said
he could go in there if he wanted.
He said, well, no, he wasn't necessarily saying that he could have broken the door down, but he says, I could come in anyway because he has keys. She gave him keys. They both have keys to each other's place, but he was polite enough to ask her, let me come in, but she said no. But then she comes to his place and lets herself in. Mm-hmm. Now, I thought she played it real smooth when he came around that corner with that gun.
What?
And she said, go ahead and shoot me. I've had the worst day. And I was like, damn, most people wouldn't think of it like, oh shit, I'm sorry, I fucked up, I'll leave.
Last time he put out there, he left 3 people dead. So I don't know how she stayed cool. I would have been like, hold up.
She did, but wasn't that like the smoothest thing? And then just went in and grabbed a bottle of wine and poured the wine, started drinking like, oh, I've had such a hard day.
So smooth.
Like,
I would have crapped his pants. I would have been in the middle. Like, what the hell?
Let me tell y'all how silly I have been today. I am so tired that I literally just read my own tweet to you.
Wow.
I was like, did I read my own tweet? That is so sad. That was from last night, and somebody retweeted it, and I read it. And I'm like, why is this grayed out? My mind is gone. I'm so sorry, y'all. So, yeah, that's how crazy. Well, the case for this episode was really the campaign and what was going on with that, and old Talky Talk Mouth. I'm surprised they didn't send somebody to kill her, but Talky Talk Mouth talking about bagel and baguettes or whatever she was saying. But that was the case. Was it compelling to you all or not? And Sally Langston, they ganged up on her and oh boy. So it was the election. The case was the election.
Yeah. For me personally, it worked in a way because I guess they were trying to say if everybody has a scandal going on, then it kind of solves itself, because they didn't really solve the problem. And I thought it was just convenient that they brought it all up, because what's the point of a non-disclosure agreement if you can I don't know if that's a real thing or not, but you can just be bought out of a non-disclosure agreement. I had no idea until they said it on the show. I was like, I'll accept that reason. I don't know. I
would have to say
I've never heard that either.
I would have to say that she wasn't bought out of the non-disclosure agreement. They probably just paid her more money to the point that it wouldn't matter.
Okay.
If she were sued, since it's non-disclosure, we wouldn't know how much she was paid originally. Yeah. But
it was just, it wasn't a huge point. It was just one of those that's interesting. And then
I'm gonna tell you who I think it was. I think it was Mama. I think it was Mama because it's a distraction. It's a distraction because they were so dealing with that, and then along with dealing with Reston, they weren't paying attention. The only one who was paying attention was Jake, and they fucked that up for him.
Yeah, I think it's Sally Langston trying to get some dirt, so then they dropped the dirt about first of all, not that your theory is wrong or anything, because it's actually it's smarter than mine. But I just thought it was Sally, and that was her trying to drop some dirt on the president, and then he dropped some dirt back on her, pulling up that abortion thing. And then they had to find dirt on Reston because he was coming out the winner, with them infighting. Although I did love the title of the book, Take It for Granted. I thought that was cool.
That was. But I'm gonna tell you, Reston has been in trouble since season 2 when Liv first found out that he murdered his wife's lover. She's been gunning for him ever since, and she got him. She
dropped that file on him.
Right, but she got him once already. Remember earlier this season? What did he? I had it in my head earlier, and I forgot what it was. But something happened earlier this season, or either it was towards the end of last season, where Reston did something, and she shut him down.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember, but when
it'll come back to me. But basically, this time was the second time. It's like every time you think you've gotten rid of Reston, he comes back. He's like a roach. I'm almost sure that's his nickname.
A roach?
I'm almost sure that's his nickname, Roach Reston, because he keeps coming back. Because no matter how many times. Because
they stole the election from him. I mean, I would think that
I got that, but he did something much worse.
He ruined his life.
He murdered her man. But anyway, he basically just
let's kill Verna dead in the bed. I mean, come on, man.
And I'm gonna say this again. That was euthanasia because she was. He gently escorted her over the threshold.
There's no gently smother on somebody.
He gently ushered her over the threshold of death.
Langstan, come on, man.
You know good and well she was 2 seconds. No. You know good and well she was 2 seconds from going.
She did try him first too. You know?
Come on, you are just as bad.
Even if just listen. But he didn't put a pillar over her. He just took her mask off and she stopped breathing.
Okay, whatever.
But here's the thing. Even if he hadn't made that decision and turned around and said, I think I'm gonna kill this heifer. He could have walked out that door, and by the time David walked in the door, she could have stopped breathing. I honestly didn't see that as a murder. I saw that as a mercy killing. I don't condone killing. I don't condone murder, but I just don't consider. I've watched it over and over, and I'm just like, he didn't do anything. He just took the mask off. He just took the mask off.
Well, did she need that mask to breathe? Then she died after he took it off. Aisha Nathaniel says that the term was emotional assassination.
Thank you.
So I was trying to get that in there. And then a gladiator from Harlem has been blowing us up, and I did not have the Q&A app open, so I'm going to go ahead and say this to y'all. If you have any questions, answers, you want to chime into this episode, click the Q&A app on your screen on the left-hand side, and you should be able to join us, or you can tweet me at Scandal Podcast, because I am getting some tweets in here and trying to read the ones that are actual tweets and not tweets I made up in my head. So a gladiator in Harlem says, excellent point, Langstan. Olivia has been treating her staff like the help, and Liv finally got a clue with this episode. She really did take her team over the edge. She's paying the price in so many ways. So that's what she said. And then she says she needs a man's perspective, please. His request to have Olivia tell Andrew to back off Melly. Why didn't Fitz do it himself, man to man, or was it only about politics?
I'll tell you what it was about. He sucker punched Andrew last episode, and he knew that if he walked his ass in there trying to tell Andrew how to conduct himself around his wife, Andrew would probably tell him what he really thought of him and the way that he treats Melly, and probably would have sucker punched his ass back. He can dish it out, but he cannot take it. We know this over and over.
What do you think, Rod?
I think he knows he doesn't have the moral high ground, and he can like task it out to Liz like, this is your job. It's not that I'm a coward or anything, but why don't you go handle this, because it's what we hired you for. And that's why that scene was so weird, because it was like, on the one hand, he's like, I love you so much, but anyway, your job is to clean up my messy marriage. And that I think it was more of that. Like he is an emotional coward, and he knows he's wrong, but it doesn't change the fact that he wants what he wants, like always with Fitz.
But the thing about Shonda is the way that she uses this show as kind of a mirror to make people see their hypocritical nature.
Yeah.
Because people say all the time that it's like it's a love-hate relationship on how they react to Fitz and Olivia, to Olitz. It's like, one minute they can't stand it, and then the next minute you forget that they are not the married couple, because they seem like they are connected more than anybody in the show. But at the same time, it's like, no, he's cheating. It's wrong. But wait, they're so sweet together. No, it's wrong.
You can't be a married couple giving thighs to other men. Well, everybody's giving thighs to other men. So we are going with
Olitz and not Fitz Livia.
No.
Okay, so
it's established. I mean, we could start a new trend, but I think everybody would buck against it.
Yeah, because they call Melly and Andrew MEW. So yeah, everybody would. They established these things already, child. I just go with the flow. Gladiator in Harlem says, knife fight at the table number 3 in the restaurant. I was done. Eli was getting ready to shank his wife, but in front of his daughter. What? And then she's like, but Melly in the big rollers, she was hollering because it was so real. Melly is usually, we only see her in pumps and pearls, which is definitely true. We only see Melly kind of made up. And even when she was at the table in one of the prior episodes with Fitz and she was drunk, that was even a surprise.
I really liked her in the rollers and the slip, because that scene showed how like she's been kind of eating it from Fitz for a long time to try to help, you know, with his dream, and also because she wants that power too. But how like she will be subservient if she can get what she wants. And she's like, he slapped them ties on the ground and she still got back, put them ties back on the bed, folded them back up. And I was just like, why don't you just walk into the shower and be like, your daddy raped me, the boy might not be yours, now pick out a goddamn tie, we gotta go. Because I would have been livid.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
The boy ain't yours, your daddy raped me, get a damn tie. What are you
Right. That's the breaking point right there. You know, when
the ties are the breaking point?
No, my thing is what is her breaking point? I mean, he cussed you out because you know were kicking it with his best friend, and he's like, you know, telling you, hey, what have you given up? Tell me, what have you given up? He's all in her face and everything, and then Olivia, as we noticed, brought her ass in there and interrupted the shit. If Melly had, I mean, I just feel bad for her sometimes, but at the end of the day, Melly should have said, would you get your ass out of here and let me finish what I'm trying to say up and through here? Mm-hmm. But my question again is, when does Melly have a breaking point where she finally tells that man what the hell happened to her? That has been those kids have to be between 16 and 17. That's been 16 years in the making. You need to tell him what the hell happened. What is your breaking point? I mean, I'm all for fortitude and being able to hold your shit down. But, excuse me, hold your shit down. But you know what? At some point when your husband is punking you, you got to punk him right back.
Yeah. I can't wait for her to play the big joker on him.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are so vindictive.
I mean, come on. At some point,
you all on this episode.
I'm just saying, you getting your shit sucked. I mean, I'm sorry.
What?
I'm sorry. I just.
You might curse, but good.
Oh my.
I got upset. I'm sorry, but anyway, he's getting his needs tended to. So how dare you try to deny her from doing the same thing that you're doing? How does that work? I mean, that's the big question. Where they do that at? That you get to do what the hell you want to do, but she got to suffer. And you know what? I'm down with both of y'all when that slap came, and I mean she gave him one of them 1940s Betty Davis, Joe Crawford slaps, like, you take everything from me.
Yeah.
You know when I saw that, you know what popped in my head at first was when Celie was at that table with Mr.
Oh my God.
Did I ever ask you for any damn thing?
Not even your sorry ass hand in marriage.
It's like everything you done to me. I was like, you know what, Melly?
Yeah, that was Melly's moment right there.
You needed to slap him.
And you know what? Did y'all notice there was a slight pause because Cyrus didn't know what the hell to do, and then he goes, "Okay, let's," and everybody started scrambling out.
Speaking of,
she said no.
They tried to hit that piano player at the juke joint. When she slapped him, the whole staff was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Yes, that was exactly it. That was exactly it. The piano player shut down the piano, and so basically Cyrus was the piano player. He's pulling down the little thing, and then everybody starts scrambling. Yeah, that was exactly. That was perfect.
Everybody clutched their pearls today, Langston. Lorna Lamont said, "I'm clutching my pearls." See? I was just like, "Oh my!"
I let it get away from me. I'm sorry.
Gladiator in Harlem says she saw Jake in a different light with this episode. He finally lost what was left of his soul. He's lost forever. Sad, but great TV. And then the Posh Negress says she loves that the presidency will go to a murderer unless Olivia's mama blows all these motherfuckers up.
Man, if that bomb goes off next week, I don't know if I could be more happy if Fitz just got blown up. Like, I would actually be real happy. Like, good, get him out of here. Let's find a new white boo for Liv.
At least let him lose a leg.
Yes.
Let her just go back to Puddin'. Like, why she can't go back to Senator Puddin'? Senator Puddin' will always be there.
He's back on Broadway. So when he gets done with Broadway, he might get back. He might come back.
Knowing Shonda Rhimes, she will have him show up with like a nice woman that he's married to and be overlived.
I hope not. And you know who's directing this next episode is Debbie Allen. So hopefully we will see more of the strong Liv in this next episode. She didn't write it, but she's directing it.
She's actually directed a couple of episodes, but it's that's good. Usually her episodes are tight.
In the end episodes, Tom Verica is doing the last episode, and Shonda's writing it. So I'm kind of excited for that because we're going to have all the gladiators on this podcast at once. Hopefully the ladies can join us and we can have a scandal party.
What is it like? It's going to be like 6 or 7 of us online, right? It's
3 of them, so that's 4. I'm inviting Jocelyn from my Love, Sex, and Cupid podcast. So she'll be on here as well. So that's 5 and me. Yeah, 6 people.
You coming back for that, Rodimus?
If I'm invited, I will be here.
You are always invited to our podcast. We love to have you. So we didn't even get past this list tonight. So we're going to keep going. If blank had happened in this episode, it would have been perfect. What is your blank?
If you know what, go ahead, Rodimus.
All right.
I'm thinking.
Stick with me here, guys. I know it's going to sound kind of crazy. But if Andrew would have picked Melly over the power, I would have liked it just because it would have proved, like, it would have been one of those, like, so somebody can be a good person on this show and be like, I love something more than just being powerful. It would have been like something to think about. And if Liv would have really went through with that threat, like, would she have destroyed him? Would she have felt like kind of bad about it? Because she, her whole thing was like, I want you to do it because it'll kind of prove me wrong. And especially in light of her relationship with Fitz, I would have loved to see, like, if she could have gone through with destroying Andrew, if she would have been like, damn, that's the one thing I didn't think you would do, because nobody has done that in 4 years. So I wanted to see that.
I wanted to see Liv pick up on what her daddy really said. When she asked him to promise that she wouldn't hurt Fitz, I wanted her to pick that up, but she didn't, because he looked at her, he took a little sip of his drinky drink, and he turns to her and says, I won't touch a hair on his head. He didn't say I won't kill him. He didn't even say I won't hurt him. He just said I won't touch a hair on his head, and she just kind of looked there and she's like, good. No, Liv, he did not promise you shit. He is going to hurt this man.
And he don't do none of his dirt himself either, so he can mean anything with that. It can
mean anything. And a lot of people.
And the thing that topped it. Go ahead.
And a lot of people are theorizing that he and Mama are working together.
Ooh. Yes, I was about to say that. That's why I was like, well, maybe he's going to go there anyway. Yeah, that's the theory, that the Mama and Papa are working together. Or even, I think that it's not necessarily that they're working together, but more so that that Rowan knows what she's up to.
Or that they're both playing the same game. They're both in it to get rid of Fitz.
Yeah, that would actually.
There's a revenge game that she's playing that has to do with the Grant family, and there's a revenge game that Papa is playing. It's a game of chess, and everybody is moving their pieces at the same time. And it's all going to come into not only an explosion but an implosion as well.
That would be dope because for Daddy Pope, if he gets Fitz out the way, the new president could, theoretically appoint another head of B613, could be him, get his spot right back.
But the thing is, the president doesn't control that. That was never a spot for him to be in charge of. So he should never appoint it.
But here's
power.
What?
Didn't Fitz put Jake in position to be the head of B613?
I don't think so.
If you think about it, not really. What he may have done was he may have signed some papers But ultimately, it was Jake who did his own dirty work to get himself into that situation, because Jake is a captain. He's a captain of the Department of he works in the Department of Defense. So he knew everything that he needed to know to get himself in that place. All he needed was signatures from the president, because the point is that none of those agencies that the money comes from even knows that the place exists. So if B613 doesn't exist, how can you really fire somebody?
Yeah, how does? I mean, they did fire somebody. I mean,
but technically,
and that's what it was.
Technically, they can't, because it's like if the position doesn't exist, you don't fire them. You just push them aside, and that's all they did to him.
It was a strategic coup.
Right. It was a chess move. They moved him. They took him out of play. They set him off of the board, and while he was off of the board, the knight was already in there looting the whole situation.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Like when they had him detained,
right?
And they were
right. So basically, Fitz' only act in that was detaining Rowan, and while he had Rowan detained, Jake was able to move in and move all the pieces around that would make him the one in power. Okay. So ultimately, Fitz may have made a few phone calls and told some people to do some things here, do some things there, but literally B613 isn't supposed to exist. So if it doesn't exist, who is going to tell him? Who can he tell to remove this man from his position?
We already know that Fitz does not do any of his dirty work. So even if that was the case, if there was some dirty work going on, he wasn't going to be the one doing it.
Ultimately, Jake did the work, but Fitz just helped facilitate it.
Lorna Lamont says that I made her night because she's been hoping for a podcast with all the team members. So I'm super excited about that, Lorna. And I have a bunch of comments in here, so I'm going to just go through all of them as fast as I can. Gladiator in Harlem says she felt like old Liv was back when she ripped Andrew a new one in the meeting. Felt like white trench coat Olivia from season 1. Yes, Rodimus had brought that up in the podcast he was in with us previously, that he really wanted her to come back. And I said to him last night on Twitter, she's coming back. And he's like, just a little bit. I need to go full steam, but just a little bit.
I think by the time we get to the finale, she's going to probably be back.
That's what I think. I think by the Debbie Allen episode next week, we'll see a lot going on with Olivia. Here we go. Gladiator says, I love how Huck set Liv straight. And these are responses to the times that we were talking about this. Huck has followed blind orders from Olivia without question, dead bodies everywhere. And now when the tables are turned, Liv had no choice but to follow through. Liv has many, many demons. She always said she was not normal. Powerful scene. Melly screamed at Fitz with the slap. You always take from me. What did Fitz take from Melly? And he's done, I think there's more to the story. Like, we've only gotten a little bit of the layers, because you know how Shonda does. She spoon feeds us a little bit. And then as she adds the layer of the sandwich on with all the stuff that has happened over the years, we'll probably understand it a little bit more. And Lorna said, yes, the comment from, go ahead.
I think he has taken, like, power from her over the years, because she used to kind of be, like, his right-hand man. And, like, there were times where he would, like, come to her for decisions, and I want to say like maybe last season or the season before, they had that big fallout before the baby, and he was like, we're done with you advising me or talking to me or having any say so. He like her.
You're ornamental.
Yeah, Cyrus out too, but Cyrus found a way kind of back into the circle of power. But Melly's been kind of on the outside looking in at a lot of important decisions, so maybe that was also part of what she felt he took from her.
Well, I think in that particular case, and especially in the case of the functional, not ornamental, not functional speech, she was being shady. She was trying to manipulate and change the course of what he was doing by using her pregnancy and her emotional state to push a war that he didn't want to get into, which ultimately we find out later would have been the wrong decision anyway. And so, I thought in that context he had every right to be upset, and but he went a bit far by telling her she was just ornamental. But I was like, damn,
Yeah,
that's
I'm not
cold.
saying she's right. Just as a
Right.
character, she probably feels like I was slighted, even though she was wrong.
Well, I mean, but when you think about it, he's, you know, she gave up a lot, and and I think in that term, she's not necessarily saying you literally took something from me. She's saying I gave up everything for you.
Yeah.
I gave up everything. She gave up her law career. She, you know, there's so much other things that she could have been doing. She made, you know, like she said at one point, I think it was either mid second season where she said, you know, this baby, this baby is like political gold, and I could become the next president, because he was trying to. He was just basically downgrading her when she kept talking about America's baby, America's baby. He's like, it's not America's baby, blah, blah, blah. And then she broke him off a piece of her Kit Kat bar and said, you know what? I don't care what you say. This baby right here is my ticket to everything if I wanted it. I could walk away from you right now and I could be president in the next.
All those threats are hollow. All of her threats are hollow. All of Olivia's threats are hollow. I mean, because Olivia will probably be, before the finale, she'll probably be up on Fitz again. Lorna Lamont says the comment from Olivia's dad did go straight over her head. And Aisha disagrees with you, Langston. She says Fitz did put Jake in charge of B613 in episode 310. Olivia has also referenced this fact when Fitz said he doesn't trust Jake.
I know what it says on screen. I get that, but the point is, you also have to look at the other stuff that they said on screen, which is the president has no power over B613. They even reiterated that when Jake came into power in the briefcase, where the executive office has no bearing on your job as B613 command. That is coming from the script. There are two dichotomies that are happening, and at the end of the day, Jake did his own dirty work, because there's no way that Fitz could have been doing anything when he was actually sitting in the bunker with Rowan. So it's like Jake was doing the work while he was distracting Rowan.
Yeah, so I can kind of see it both ways, because like I think they like Jake could not have done it without Fitz, but like you said, it's not like he literally said, "Okay, you're fired now." Now Jake is in office. It seemed like it's kind of a combination.
I tell you what he did do. What Fitz did do was send out a fleet of Secret Service to grab him, because there is no one else who could have grabbed Rowan. The police couldn't have grabbed Rowan. That to me is the only thing that Fitz did to put Jake in power. But Jake did the work to put himself in power. He used Fitz to get into power, because now that he's in power, he doesn't have to do a damn thing that Fitz wants him to do, and he knows that now. He didn't know it before, but he knows it now.
And that's the thing. It makes me wonder, like, when I was saying, like, maybe Rowan does want Fitz dead, is just to cause the chaos possible to get his throne back. Like, maybe not get the help from, I don't know, Langston or Reston or whatever, but like just like something to throw Jake off balance enough to sneak back in there and be like, aha, I told your ass.
I mean,
aha, I told you.
But just the way that Jake approached him the week before is like, dude, you going down. You are so going down.
I am your bitch. Oh, you talking about with Rowan? Oh. Yeah. I like the scene when he told Fitz he wasn't his bitch. I was like, yes.
Yeah, that was and that all stems from everything that he learned, because I think he also believed at the time that he would be beholden to Fitz, that Fitz would hold all the cards. But after he read everything that was in that was in the briefcase, and that was the first thing it said was the executive office has no bearing on what you do.
But he should have. He had to have already known that beforehand. I mean, he was dealing with Rowan from before, from when he was an operative in B613. So he had to know that. But Fitz's office had no bearing on being the head of B613.
But I don't
and
think.
I also think that Fitz felt like he owed Jake, because in one of the episodes he talked to Jake, and Jake was telling him how he'd given up so much for Fitz to be the pretty boy, the one that was the successful one. Like, I don't know what he did, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I'm still feeling like, you know, we are not done with Project Remington, because we were led to believe.
Need to get to it.
We were led to believe all along that they were two separate events, and then nothing. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure if they're wanting us to let it go, that we'll just forget about it. But you know, when you have TiVo and you review stuff, you notice stuff that's missing. So come on, y'all.
It's stupid anyway, man.
Y'all gotta fix that.
Fitz being like, well, I want you to be my ally, and then he'll like cuss Jake out, and it's like, you know, y'all fighting over this woman. Of course, at some point he decided like, I'm not listening to you no more, dog. Like, you think you run me, and you finally gave me some power. Like, I don't even like you anymore. Stop talking to me.
Mm-hmm. What was the game-changing moment for y'all last night?
Oh, that switch.
What did you say?
When Huck hit that switch. He turned everything off, even the phones. I said, God damn, man. The phones? Like, everything to that. He hit the escape button, and everything went down. They don't even know where the dirty bomb is. I don't know what Jake was waiting on. Like, what is a purpose you can have with a bomb of that magnitude that would be okay with Jake? You know, he was like, let's see what you're going to do with it.
Right.
But Olivia's the one that just killed the president.
Right. And especially the way, and you know what, I'm sorry, just, you know, next week I need Debbie, if you're listening, I need for you to put a beat down on Jake for putting his hands on Liv. Oh. Period. Because I need.
Huck has that covered.
I need for Huck to disarm him, and then Harrison and David jump right on in.
But see, he's no fool, because Jake went in there with a gun in his hand and his hand open to clutch up on the throat. Like, his hand was already.
He was already ready. But you know what that was about. You know what that was about. It was about the magical thighs.
Exactly, and it had a lot to do with that. The sweet thighs.
Right.
It had a lot to do with that.
Because he felt stupid.
You know, it's like, and he should have.
Right, because I think somebody was questioning whether or not he was awake when she had the phone. No, if he was awake when she did the thing with the phone, she wouldn't have made it out of his apartment.
Yeah,
but he was dead asleep, because we'll talk about the mail order.
But that's really his fault, because he should have like put her to sleep. He didn't put that work in.
Right. Well,
nobody on here puts anybody to sleep. Clearly, Harrison don't have the mojo, because that dude. I'm like, you supposed to hold up the myth, Harrison. You're on what? Like,
yeah. Well,
every girl he sleeps with is like, I could have done.
But technically, well, see, the difference with Jake and the difference with Harrison is, Liv really put the good on him, because that knocked him out. But Adnan, you have to question Adnan's good, because she had to use a needle to knock him out.
That's a good point.
Harrison was in the office, first of all, but I feel like this. If you had sex with somebody and you would rather have had a V8, then clearly your peniles weren't that good. It wasn't good.
But here's the thing. You got to remember, go back and watch. They started in the daylight, and by the time they was done, it was night.
And they was
Harrison?
Yes, it was something. They did something. Did something. But I had the question. Maybe
it was already like getting dark or something.
No.
You know what it was? Maybe they both took their after sex coma nap together, and it skipped that part on screen. We just got to when they woke up, and she like, damn, I should have been winning this dude's safe. Now I gotta knock him out with the needle. I couldn't wake up. He might have held it down. I'm gonna give him benefit of the doubt.
I don't give him no such a thing. Whatever. Y'all guys put together.
But I'm just saying that, first of all, you know that men are prone to fall asleep faster than women anyway after sex. So
because y'all are prone to actually come to a conclusion more so than we are. That's probably why. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave that right there.
See me over here with my arms raised, right? Like,
it's a contest. We finished first.
Look, it's not a contest. that is not cool.
Like the Olympics.
You put yourself in jeopardy of not being called back to back. That's what you do.
Ow.
Okay, let's move on.
I guess that's true.
Okay, so the game changer moment for last night was that for you. Did you have one, Langstan?
Yeah, game changer for me was Mama just walking her ass into the restaurant.
She just did that shit so casually. And then when she walked out too, I was like, she acts like nobody looking for her.
I crack up every time, and then she just sat down. She didn't even give Rowan the time of day. Hi, Livy.
Yeah, this scary voice. Like, and the crazy part about it too is when that girl was standing there, she had already told Harrison how she looks at this is an opportunity to be interned by or whatever she was calling it.
Mentor.
By Mama Pope. Mentor. Yeah, mentor. There you go. Mentored by Mama Pope. And Mama Pope was like, I'm gonna need you to get all of these people, my whole crew, some, new IDs and such. And she was like, well, how much is that? She never even told a girl a number.
No,
she was like, I want it in 24 hours.
Right.
And don't you bring your ass back here no more. And the lady was like,
she goes, and once you deliver these, you need to leave town.
Yeah.
But this is the thing.
For how long?
This is the problem that I have with Claire. What Claire did wrong was she called Harrison on a phone that she got from a high-level spy/terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really not
think? Did she get that phone from Mama Pope?
You know she did. She's working for her. So therefore, you call Harrison and say, I want out. And then 2 scenes later, you're dead. That's why.
Mama Pope knew she wanted out when she walked out that door. Mama Pope ain't no fool. And then Lorna Lamont says the thing is that Fitz thought he put Jake in power, but Jake schooled him last week that he has no control over commands. And then she also says, guys, I have always felt deep down that Jake and Fitz are half brothers, and there is that latent rivalry between them because they fight like brothers sometimes. And then Gladiator in Harlem asks, do you think we'll ever see the kids again? I would love to see their perspective, but then again, this is an adult show, so maybe not. Look, I think it took us 3 years to see these kids, so
right, and then they just
another 3 before we see them again,
and then they've disappeared again.
And they showed up just in time to get emotionally scarred for life. Like they
I saw mommy's again.
Uncle Andrew, nasty.
Yeah. It was like, Mama, you was down on your knees. I said, oh, you saw everything.
Oh.
She hit the partition. And I was like, man.
Yep, she was in there doing a surfboard. But
Lord have mercy.
But yeah, that scene in the restaurant was extreme because I have to tell you that I actually was kind of half asleep watching it, but when Mama Pope walked up in the restaurant, I had to sit up. I sat straight up and I said, she did not just walk in the restaurant.
You can't be dozing off on Scandal.
Well, I mean, I was already asleep at what? I was asleep at 8:30, but when it came on, I could hear it, but I was just like kind of coming out of it. But I was slowly coming out of my coma, and then when Mama walked in, I woke all the way up.
Was she I especially like the very end of the dinner scene when they both stood up and Eli Pope got ready to go on one of his magnificent speeches and she cut it short. I said she got super
right. She just patted. What did he say? Something about, and he said, and you know that I've got a long memory.
Yeah, I'm a
patient. And she just kind of patted him on his chest and looked down at his crotch. She's like, yeah, sweetie, bye.
Right. Amazing, dog.
I want to know how Mama Pope got out of jail from 22 years and still got her boo thing.
Right.
Like, what? Who does that?
Whose little black book is
she got the good. She got the good.
It's like, hey baby, go ahead and give me a bomb. Okay, all right.
Look, no, not just get me a bomb. It's like, would you like a single rose? And she just kind of kicks her foot up and says, surprise me.
You know it must have been good because that man didn't change his phone number for 22 too good. So just in case.
Because he said, I know she's still out there somewhere. And if she ever come back,
Well, that very small possibility. I'm just gonna make sure I don't change this number. What scene would you have taken out or extended from last night's show, and how does the title of the episode reflect in the plot and character motivations of this episode? And while y'all think on that, Posh Negress says she wants more of Liv putting folks into place, except for Jake. Please be nicer to Jake. I mean, I don't necessarily want her to be nicer to Jake. Just this episode made me feel sorry for Jake. It made me feel human towards Jake, whereas every other episode in every single show that he's been in, I felt nothing but disgust and did not even want him on the show. But last episode, I did feel, last night, I did feel a little empathy. Yeah, I did. I was just like, Liv, you a bitch. Like the way she treated him, I'm not opening this door. You killed my friends, but I'm about to give you some sugar thighs so I can get some information. You didn't even have to do all of that. If she had went over there and laid in on his chest, he probably would have been happy with that. He just wants her time and attention, and unfortunately, he wants her to save him. I'm like, why do the people on this show not save themselves? Like Fitz, in a lot of ways, wants her to save him, and then here you got, that's so emotionally taxing to deal with two different men who both want you to save them, but they're both broken. Like, I can't fix up all your holes, honey. You leaky. I can't do it. It's just too much.
But I've been thinking about Rodimus. I was thinking about your comment about them possibly being half brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And
that wasn't him.
That was you?
No, that was a comment in the.
Oh, that was a comment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thinking about that, it's very possible, and maybe the reason that they do battle so much is that he does know that, and it could be one of Jerry's, side pieces that he had that he.
What if it was the secretary?
Right, that he just kind of
that would be so bad.
that he just kind of tossed off to the side, and then. And then because it was such a horrible life that they had, probably living in a trailer park somewhere because he just kind of discarded them. And then she married some nasty, child molester, some nasty child molester.
What are you talking about?
No, remember he said that the guy. Remember he said that the guy was, had a thing for young girls.
Like young girls. Mm-hmm.
Right. So that might have been a stepfather, and he grew up having a totally horribly awful life in comparison to what Fitz had. And so then they come together and meet each other in the freaking Navy, and what's the chances of that? And then he ends up getting dragged into B613.
Or maybe they met beforehand and then they decided to join the Navy together. Because remember when Fitz's dad said he never wanted him to go into the Navy in the first place or something like that during one of the episodes, the flashback.
At the very least, they were probably best friends in college and all of that stuff.
I mean, they may not be related at all, but this is just and it's always fun. What were you going to say, Rod?
I think the scene that I would want extended is the scene where Melly has the ties. I wanted her to cuss this out or say something back, like just anything. Or if we're not gonna get that, I would have appreciated like more of an explanation from Fitz or something, like why the fuck he feels like he gets so mad. Like I don't know. I guess the character's just selfish, but damn man, just feel like he should have to say more than just I'm gonna come in here and look angrily at you and slap these ties out your hand. Like say it with your chest, man.
Yeah, I wanted the scene for when she slapped him to be extended but I know it couldn't be because they don't want to have that conversation. Like she doesn't want to have that conversation with him, and you saw that in last episode, not this one, but the one prior, when he was trying to have that conversation with her, and she ran out the room right behind Liv. So, or right before Liv, one of the two, but she ran out the room. What were you going to say, Langston? What was your preferred extension scene?
Well, I would have definitely liked to see the end of the episode extended just a little bit to see how everybody because I just felt like we didn't get to see enough of a reaction from everybody as to what was happening in that moment because it was so quick. it was so quick that we didn't get to see, you know, like, was David shitting on himself? You know, you know,
I didn't tell him anything, Jake. I don't even know why I'm
right. I ain't had shit to do with it, Jake. I promise you, I swear. Because, you know, last time Jake walked up in his office, he looked like he had just filled his entire, you know, slacks with some shit. He was like, he was hesitating to breathe. You know, it was like
I would have had extra $5 if they just added like 2 seconds of David grabbing all his shit and running out.
Right. And then you know what would have happened? He just would have shot him in the back. Oh my God!
But he wouldn't have, because he doesn't kill Olivia's friends.
Right. Do you hear it? What? The B613 in your brain. I was like, what?
What in the hell? Oh my gosh, the people on Twitter are freaking hilarious. Kitty O'Neill, which is Margie Elena on Twitter, says that Mama Pope's theme song should be looking ass niggas by And then the Posh Negress, and her name is Shitty Bonmots. Okay. She says, not for nothing, but I'm lightweight okay with Jake choking Liv. She be fucking up. I thought that was funny. So when y'all were talking, I'm reading this and I'm like, what?
Right.
You are crazy, girl.
But you know, let me be real about what my extended scene would have been. My extended scene, I just wanted to Reston. You know, I'm glad that, you know, he got his little comeuppance or whatever, but I just would have liked to have seen more of the conversation with him and his wife. I wanted her to jump in his shit for setting her up. I did. I just wanted.
That lady was shell shocked. She is in prison, fighting for her booty hole every single day, and you wanted her to have anger towards somebody to put her there, and she has no control over the fact that she can't. Well, whatever, Langstan, you understand exactly what I mean.
Because you saw the look on my face, like
her booty hole. Wait,
I don't think it works like that in women's prison.
Her sugar thighs. Okay, whatever. She fighting for that every day, and you want her to have a little anger towards her. Look, that dude just shot her lover in cold blood. Everybody on Scandal's a murderer, and I quite frankly do not feel bad. I feel bad because y'all don't like Reston, and it wasn't his fault, because Reston is supposed to be the one in office in the first place. And if Reston was in office, Olivia could have her little jam and orchard and such, because Fitz would divorce Melly and the world be great, and then you'll have Oleg's love all the time, and then the show will be boring and nobody will watch it, and then y'all be complaining about that. So,
Jaha,
what?
You been drinking again, baby?
No.
Because you went off.
Yeah, I don't even remember saying any of this stuff, but I consider myself told.
Kitty O'Neill says, doesn't David technically work for B613 and Jake as a condition for keeping his life? I don't think so. I think that was just for the situation with
to close that out. Keep your mouth shut. Don't ever talk about that situation.
So
although he's broken that agreement, and he might address that next week.
Look, David just wanted to feel safe. And Olivia kind of provides that for him in a way, but when I'm quite sure, seeing as Jake is now up in the office with his hand round Liv's throat like Ike from Ike and Tina, he's probably regretting the fact that he threw his hat in with Olivia, because he knows at some point in time he's gonna die. Like, it's just gonna happen. Did y'all catch the looks between Abby and what is his name?
Yes, bothered the shit out of me.
Yes, Abby and the chief advisor for Sally, Leon. Yes, I was like, are they giving each other eyes?
Yeah, like they like
it. It did look that way, and I was like, does that mean that David's about to be gone?
I know.
I don't know if that was a clue, or maybe it's just that maybe they were just having a mutual admiration because they were kind of sparring. you know, over who was going to make this work, who was going to make this happen, and you know, and at the end of the day, Abby won.
Yeah.
Or as Fitz called her, or as Fitz and Cyrus kept calling her, Gabby.
Gabby.
I was like, damn, y'all gonna quit messing.
Which is crazy because the fandom calls them Dabby, David and Abby. Gabby. Right. So I was like, Gabby? Where'd that come from?
Yeah. Because technically they've never had to work with her before. So it's like, why would they? As Fitz said, I don't really care what her name is. He didn't care. It wasn't Liv.
Wearing that white coat.
He didn't care. Right.
Yeah, she came in there working her little white coat. I'm like, okay.
Cyrus said, I feel sorry for what's about to happen to you.
Right. Yes, Abby and Leo, Lorna, we really want to know if they have something going on here. And then Kitty asked, is there a theory on why Charlie keeps calling Quinn Robin? I think it's the Batman and Robin.
Yeah, that's all
ideology. Because she's his sidekick, and you know.
Oh, I know what I forgot to mention. I think Charlie knows about it. I think Charlie knows about it.
Of course he does.
He was playing that Orange Juice Jones. I saw you.
I saw you. I saw you.
And him.
Don't touch that coat.
Yeah, because you know he saw her go. You know he was watching them when they were at the park, because he was already like when Jake said Agent Perkins, can I speak to you for a minute? Charlie already was like, what the fuck?
Yep. And he said something like, how many men have you been with, or something like that? Even kissing, like everything. What about licking on the face? Huh? What about licking on the face?
Whoa, wait, slow down. Nobody, what?
It was a subtext.
That was all up underneath that conversation. We didn't hear that.
And that was Rodimus as Jaha.
Probably so crazy.
But anyway, no, but what he said was, so are you loyal? Mm-hmm. Have you been faithful? Who have you been dating? And blah, blah, blah. And she ran it down, and then she said, well, what about you? Who have you been dating? I don't date people. I just date you.
And that was creepy.
No, but it's the way he said. But it's the way he said. The next thing he said, "You're special," and you know where he got that. You know where he got that from. You know where he got that from, because who's the only other person who calls her special? Huck. He heard that. He got a bug on her somewhere, or he was there and was watching.
Look, that whole little car truck thing that they were in would have been wet with pee, because as soon as he called me special, I would be like, oh.
And but go back and look at her. Go back and look at her face, because the only thing that stopped her from addressing it was that she noticed that Mama Pope was in that room.
Yeah.
Because when he said you're special, she was like, what the.
Yeah, and he hit her with that, I only date you, like, I'm exclusive. What about you?
And she's like,
He already moved into our apartment. I mean, heck,
I know.
Did you can get? You moved in and didn't even ask me, bruh.
Didn't sign the lease, nothing.
Renee Deborah asked if we had already addressed the Abby and Leo thing, and we did address it prior to the question that you put in here. And who was your MVP for last night? Who was y'all's MVP for last night's episode? The most valuable player on Scandal. Who was that?
That would be Mama Pope, because she shut everything. She shut everything down when she walked in that restaurant, because that was just. She put her pee on the wall. I'm sorry.
It's really hard not to give it to Mama Pope. He's right.
Yeah, that is true.
I did say that. I saw your face.
I was like, oh.
She put what on the wall? Yes, she did.
She murdered somebody. She got laid, and she confronted her ex-husband in broad daylight. Like,
no, she punked her ex-husband.
Yeah, tapped him on his chest like, good try, good effort.
Mm-hmm. That was sweet. And isn't that what she actually said? Did she say, you know what? It goes back to my days when I was in Atlanta. You know y'all good for this. Bless your heart.
Yeah.
That's all over the South.
That's the Southern F.
Yeah. Bless her heart. Who was your least favorite character this episode?
Fitz, man. I hated Fitz, man.
Yeah, I was having problems with him because he just can't get it together.
Mine was Olivia. I don't care what y'all say. Mine was Olivia. I like the fact that she, did stand up for herself, but just... I don't know. I have to give her some deference though, because I feel like a little bit of her, like when Fitz said she's looking at him with dead eyes. I think that's how she felt all episode. And if you look at her when she goes and sleeps with Jake and then she's laying there, her eyes are still dead. You know what I'm saying? So I can't be too hard on her for this episode because
she tried to call in sick now, if you remember.
Yeah, she did.
Abby and Ford, like she tried her best, but
to get herself together.
Matter of fact, you know what? Abby was dangerously close to being the LVP, like the least valuable, except for that video she leaked. Because man, they was playing her, they wouldn't even listen.
Right.
They didn't listen to Olivia.
You were saying the same shit Olivia would have said. And they was like, it's coming out of your mouth, so I don't care.
We can't hear you. Because she even tried to disguise it by wearing the white coat, thinking if maybe they won't notice the red hair and the white skin. But
y'all are mean.
Whatever, Gabby. Get out of here.
Y'all are so mean. Who was your least favorite character this episode? Y'all said Fitz.
Yeah.
I think my least favorite character was Olivia. So we already went over that. What were the 2 best quotes from this episode?
Wow.
Y'all don't have no good quotes?
It was a ton. I'm about to go.
I know, there's so many.
Mine was the Melly quote of you take everything from me. And it seemed like after she said that, she caught her breath like, I can't believe I just did that. And it was almost was like she got a physical slap from Andrew when he basically said, look, I'm moving on. I can't deal with you. I don't want no more sugar thighs. I'm good. It was like she'd been physically assaulted after him coming and telling her how he wanted to be with her and that stuff. And then when she goes and says, I'm ready to be with you, he's like, I don't want you no more. It was hurtful. And I know she had to have lost her damn mind because not only did Fitz slap them ties out her hand, he slapped down her self-respect so many times. She can't have nothing. You even played me on TV, bruh, when I'm here counting down time of you either be with me or leave Olivia alone. You at Olivia's house having sugar thighs and such, and I'm sitting over here. You never want me to have shit. Like, I don't blame her. She should have done more than slap Fitz. She should have tased his ass in that office, and then everybody would have had something to see. That's just my thought, but whatever.
Yeah, you back on our side.
Just talk myself in a circle.
That's what I'm talking about. Earlier, you was like, y'all going in too hard. I like this. I like the "What else do you need" speech. That was dope.
The what speech?
The "What else do you need?" The whole Fluffer speech. Like
the Fluffer speech, right?
That was good.
That was good.
And then my other quote is when Jake showed up and was like, "I've been drinking."
I've been drinking.
Yeah.
I've been drinking.
Waterboard, drowning on that towel. But that whole like you say you're gonna tell me to the light and all that stuff. Like I enjoyed that speech, so those were probably my 2 most best quotes.
Right.
Langston, what were yours?
Yeah, definitely the Fluffer thing, but Daddy catching Daddy's little I won't touch a hair on his head. That was good.
Hey, Ron.
Can I give an honorable mention to "You Lucky You're Not Normal"? Because I laughed.
Yeah, that was funny.
Hard. I don't know if I was supposed to laugh, but I had to pause it to get my laugh out.
Did you see who in the world? What? Are you serious? This got to be Langstan.
I know, right?
I know it's Langstan.
I know.
I'm not even looking at the screen, and I know it's Langstan. I'm looking at the question. So I'm gonna go ahead and say when he said that to Huck, and you saw the face that he made when Harrison said that, "You lucky you're not normal," and he's probably like, "I'm not normal," but when Quinn licked my face, I didn't know what to do with myself. I think he screamed like a bitch inside, like.
He did give Harrison the squinty-eyed look. He's like, "You lucky you work for Liv, or I would kill you right now." Go back and look at it. He just looked at him. You know how Huck gets that.
It was the look that made me laugh so much.
Huck, right? Because Huck gives you that you're my next victim look, and it's just like and all Harrison could do was take a sip of that drink and be like, "My bad." I'm sorry.
Oh, you heard that?
Penny O'Neill says that her, the best quote from Scandal was, "Does Jake Ballard have to choke a bitch?" She said, well, it wasn't a quote, but it was implied.
Right. Is Jake Ballard gonna have to choke a bitch?
Oh, here we go. We got more comments in here. Renee Deborah says, it was like we had a brief.
Hey,
Renee. Hey, I'm answering for her because I know you couldn't hear her. But she said it was like we had a brief glimpse of the old Liv from season 1 and 2. She really wanted to see, wanted Andrew to see the slap. Yeah, that would have been good if Andrew saw that slap. And then she said that's a scene that could have been extended because you could see he felt bad because Olivia pushed him into a corner, but she loved the scene between Andrew and Olivia. Yep, that was really good.
Yeah.
You know the scene that sucked?
Because
that scene where Melly got turned down by Andrew, man, my heart hurt for her.
Exactly, that's what I was saying.
That was
earlier.
Horrible. I
was like, oh, that's like he slapped her in the face, but you know it was coming from Fitz because it had to be, you know, he had his little baby Fitz tantrum, so, you know.
But you know what? I'm sorry, I forgot. My other favorite quote was just a snippet from the Andrew Olivia encounter was when she just kind of said, she just kind of smiled and looked down, and then she said, "That's sweet, but I wish you would."
Right. Now let me go in.
Because to me it was like, you know the whole phrase when we say it. I wish it would.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing though. That speech, I mean that little interaction with Melly and Andrew was so sad because it was like all like Melly had really built herself up like, yeah, I'm about to come on up to him. I'm about to, you know, throw it on him, and she got just tossed out to the side, man.
Mm-hmm.
So did y'all have a favorite tweet from last night or anything like that?
Oh God, there was so much things going on Twitter and on Facebook that had me cracking up. I can't remember a damn thing.
Well, mine is from Ms. JM12. She says, typical man, Fitz can't stand for Melly to touch or be around him, but the thought of another man being with her is a killer. And there was another one. Rashonda Donaldson said, maybe the timing, but Rowan giving the info on the account, it's empty. Maya's bag of cash. B613 goes down and she gets away. That was kind of good timing, don't you think? Because when they got to that room, that chick was in the wind with her bomb and everything. How you pack up a bomb that fast?
Oh, because it was already in the box. Remember?
I mean, but dang,
he brought it already boxed. It was in the rose box. He pulled the roses out, and they walked out with the bomb. Done.
Also, this is something we didn't address. Oh, go ahead.
Adnan's Salif so scary too, because she was when she pulled out the rose, she said, "Do we have to look at it right now?"
I didn't even hear her say that.
Right. Probably she was scared that if you just any little thing you do might trigger it. Can we just leave now, please?
Adnan is background noise when Mama Pope is in the room. I didn't even hear her say that.
Man, Adnan Salif is such a halfway crook. That's the only reason she's still alive, because Mama Pope knows she's so scared, man. She threatened her last week too.
Well, because Mama knows that she's the key to the money. That's the only reason she's still alive.
She was like, and when I don't need you, you might be dead too. I was like, damn.
She did say that.
Why are you standing around at night?
It wasn't even a veiled threat. And at least she was smart enough when she went and found Harrison and said, I might need an exit strategy, and just the sound of a screeching car, she said, you know what?
Hell no.
Never mind. Never mind.
Gladiator Avery said, I need Andrew to stop screwing my wife, which was the quote from, what Fitz needed. And she says, Fitz is not indifferent towards Melly. No way in hell after that statement. And I agree. That's something that we didn't address in the conversations that we've had. The fact that I don't believe that Fitz is as indifferent to Melly as he's portrayed all these seasons. Like, I literally believe that this man is still in love with his wife and would have still had a good relationship with her had it not been for her turning away from him. But I also think it's a little bit of the rejection that he's feeling because he felt like Melly had decided, her sexual side was no longer there after she had kids. But now that he knows that she still is a sexual woman, still wants to get that thing beat down every now and again, now he's having a problem with it because now it's a rejection of him personally. What y'all laughing at?
I'm laughing at you when you said she want to get that thing beat down every once in a while.
I'm just saying, now it's personal, and he feels rejected personally rather than
It's like they had an agreement in an open marriage where it's like, my side is open and your side is closed. You're not sleeping with nobody, and then
that's not an open marriage. That's selfishness.
Well, you know what I mean. But he feels betrayed.
But basically,
they had an unspoken agreement. Basically, he feels betrayed because.
And the thing is he broke it first, because if they did have an open marriage, he fell in love with his piece.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't. It wasn't just we just kick it every once in a while. He was sneaking out of the White House with the Secret Service.
Yep.
To go see her.
He didn't love. He done told her to her face, I love her more than like. Right. He clearly violated the game.
So I'm not going to ask y'all about y'all's favorite outfit from last night because y'all aren't the girls. So
obviously the white coat. I mean,
who's Abby's? Because I recall being in a white coat. Well,
we don't like clothes. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. What you trying to say?
I said y'all look guys. Oh God.
It's not like
sorry.
It's not like we're gonna wear them, but we do like them.
Which cute outfit did y'all like from last night's show? Now.
You know what? Actually, I like Claire's suit. That part where she talked about leaning in, I said, "Get your business suit on, girl. You're gonna be dead because I never heard of you till now, but good job."
Actually, Mama Pope was wearing that red dress. She was wearing that red dress.
Mama Pope don't be wearing nothing. Even her wig looked like, man. Look, that wig left the restaurant before Mama Pope did. The wig was like, I am out of here. Bye.
Killing Mama Pope.
Juices to the left. I'm done. The wig was like this, Rodimus. And it was like, hey, y'all. Shit, if Mama Pope don't get you, I am. What? Like, the wig was gangster. The wig was gangster. No, on that damn thing. Like, seriously.
You are right. I have seen Candy's hair look a lot better.
I don't know. She must get that yaki at the regular weave store. She need to go get some. She need to go get some of that online stuff because clearly, I don't know what they putting her in, or she be taking that wig through a mess. She must run before she taped the show, and her ends be peasy as hell.
You counting the wig as part of the outfit?
I am.
Okay.
You can't have a cute outfit if you got on a bad wig. How is that possible?
I don't count the wig.
Y'all are not. I'm not asking y'all that question no more. Y'all are not women. Y'all
all right.
All right. So that's about it. Did y'all have anything else to add to this episode? Your wrap-up thoughts and such that we have not addressed?
I had this thought for the first time ever in the show, which I'm sure other people have had a lot, but this is my first time. Why Liv can't just leave? Like I know her dad was like, really, you just gonna leave? That's an option for you. And I was like, yes, this shit is fucked up. Like, she can't fix all this. These people are crazy. Like, nobody wanna have, like, let anything go. Everybody wants everything. And she's all wrapped up in it with these evil ass people. Like, why not just it's getting crazy. People talking about blowing up cities with bombs. Like, just get out of there, Liv. Like,
just run.
If anything,
you did tell her to run.
Like, let's say he doesn't get reelected. Maybe then he can be with your ass, because then he won't have all this shit that he's trying to hold on to. Maybe he could get a divorce finally and move to Vermont, and y'all could be together. Because you just enabling this crazy ass power hungry loser at this point. So that I don't, that's probably the wrong thought, because the show would end. But still, I hate it so much. I just wish she would quit.
Like, die, bitch. Like, that's how you sound.
I mean, he just went. Did you hear how he just kind of went off? He was just going in, and then he said, "Yeah, I just wish he would Leave.
But you know, Rodimus, her dad did want her to leave. He's told her to run. And also, she mentioned it in this episode. She's like, you know, my dad put me on a plane. I should have just carried my ass, but I wanted to be grown and do grown folks things in the White House and get my little thing bust down. And now I am in this situation I don't feel like I can even get out of. All she got to do is quit. I mean, you work for them. Quit. You don't have to feel like, yeah.
Because you know, and Abby kind of hit a little MVP, like lowercase MVP status when she kind of gave her own speech back to her. I thought that was tight, because I mean, even she was trying hard to be convincing, but she didn't know if she was convincing. And she said, "How's that?" And Liv was like, "That was pretty damn good."
Hey, what if Abby shoots Jake because she don't like no man putting hands on a woman? She got
damn, that's right, and she does have a gun.
She fuck around.
She might just have, because you know what? She probably would have had it on her because she did just come from the prison.
Yep.
If Abby shot Jake, then David would have a freak out attack, because you know he's all about you being, no, that's not.
Why did you do that? Why did you do that?
Yeah. No,
I'm sorry.
Leave Abby alone. Although that could be the exit that she would need to be with Leon or whatever the hell.
I mean, she probably wouldn't. She probably wouldn't.
Whatever.
Right. She probably wouldn't kill him, but she probably get a good shot into his leg and say, "Get your hands off of her," because she ain't gonna let that fly.
Yeah.
Well, she definitely wasn't in that parking lot when Huck choked up Liv. Liv next stay in the hand. Seriously. Seriously. Come on, man.
What is going on with that chimpanzee laugh in the background?
You got me off guard, man. I never heard that.
You're like,
all right, so that's it, y'all. Langston, you didn't have any wrap-ups?
Just, again, like I said, I love the storyline throughout. I love how there were chunks that connected to other chunks throughout the piece. That was just the greatest thing for me out of this episode.
And I did want to address some of the people that are arguing about the continuity of the show and that kind of thing. When you think about it, there are several different writers that write the show. Even though they're probably together when they write it, there's several different writers that write the show. So sometimes the characters aren't going to have the same level of oomph. I think when it comes to certain episodes, you just have to bear in mind that that's what's going on. And the show has so much stuff happening in it to grab dangles and threads and keep you interested and intrigued and still move fast-paced. You got, sometimes things drop a little bit. That's what writers do.
And then you also have to consider that there's just going to be overlap into the next season, because there are still things that are relevant from the first season that tied over into the second season, and then second season still has ties to the third season.
Yep. The dangling threads.
Because remember, they actually had to wrap up Defiance in the first season episode. The third season premiere. The third season premiere was because so much went on in the season finale for season 2 that I even saw somebody who didn't even realize that Billy Chambers went to prison. They thought that Billy Chambers was still out there and still in play. No, he went to prison. They showed him being dragged off to prison. And so therefore, when people were still unsure as to what happened with Defiance, they addressed it in the scene with Cyrus and David when Cyrus said, well, you gave me the card, so blah, blah, blah. Basically, you can't hold that over my head anymore. So they wrapped that up. They cleared that up. First thing, but still, there's still chunks that still hop back at us from previous seasons.
Yeah, of course it does. So that is our show. Thank you to Rod for joining us. I truly appreciate it. If you all would check out his website and his podcast, theblackguywhotips.com. And thank you so much for joining me again. I love my Langston and my Rodimus. Rodimus, you're great, and so are you, Langston.
Hey,
thank you to all of y'all for joining us and for sending in questions and answers and tweeting and all that good stuff. Y'all are awesome. Thank you. See y'all next week.
See you next week.